Okay. Question from CNA in the self improvement subreddit here that I see. It says, I know there's all this talk about how you should be disciplined and do things even when they don't feel good, but what if you straight up lose interest in a goal? This issue has been plaguing me all my life. I sometimes feel like working out my body, and then I start doing a workout routine. All goes well until about a week later when my desire to eat junk food outweighs my desire to be healthy and fit. I just feel like I don't even want to be fit after a while, as weird as that sounds. So this cycle leads to me never accomplishing anything. I simply lose interest in my goals too quickly, but I know I want to be fit. I always pick up lifting after a while after I get interested in it again. The problem is that I also just give up again after a while and stop caring. Does anyone else feel like this? What do I do? Yeah. Um, you know, I could almost guarantee everyone's kind of gone through wanting a goal and either not achieving it or losing interest in it. It's a normal thing. So I'll start there. My thoughts on this subject are quite frankly just this. I feel as if all the goals that we set are because we're in pain in our current state that we want to be somewhere else. So if the pain is great enough where you are currently, you're going to kind of push yourself forward to the state that you want to be. In essence, I feel like that's a goal. Um, and it doesn't have to rely on pain only, but I feel like commonly that pain is a big motivator or drive for getting somewhere where you want to be because you're not there currently. So in this instance of like working out and staying fit, adapting a new goal and new behaviors and habits is difficult. So the pain through trying to make a, a personality switch or just evolving as a person into something that you're currently not is painful in and of itself. So when you're implementing new things in your routine and you're eating right and you're going to the gym and working out really hard out of the blue, um, you're kind of your mind and body is like, hold up, what's going on here? Like this is pretty uncomfortable. Do I have to do this for the rest of my life? Um, is this even worth it? Like a lot of kind of inner dialogue and doubts kind of go on. And I think a lot of people, including myself, experience this point where the pain from trying to switch over to the person that ultimately will be able to achieve these goals through consistent habits and routines and doing all the things that kind of lead you to that goal. I feel like if the pain is greater trying to make the switch than it is than the pain that you're experiencing in your current state, then obviously you're not going to care to switch. You're not going to care to keep going. And therefore your your goal fades away and as well as, even wanting to make a change. So if what this person is saying and what I kind of come to the assumption is that this happens a lot due to us kind of wanting things now and biting off more than we can chew. Because if you take the same example but kind of lessen the pain meter for making that personality change or that routine change and everything that goes into chasing that goal, because in order to actually achieve a goal, only certain personas and certain people get to like, for example, a bodybuilder, someone that wants to win a Mr. Olympia. You know, I can't just doing what I'm doing right now become Mr. Olympia, or whatever the term is. Um, Mr. Olympia has to be me. You know, I have to do the everything that it takes to actually get to that point. I have to be 0.01%. I have to optimize my day. I have to um, eat everything correctly. I have to work out multiple times a day, whatever it is. I have to fit this persona or figure that will eventually get me to that goal or objective. And a lot of people realize in the process that this person or persona or goal, in essence, a goal that you're after is not you. It's not what you want at the end of the day, deep down inside you. Because if you really want that thing, and and it's something that speaks to your inner self, you'll do anything you can and everything you can to get there, no matter how much pain you go through. Because the pain that you're at currently, there's no more bigger pain than not being yourself, and that outweighs every single type of habit change and routine that is out there, because you cannot sit in a more miserable state than not being yourself, in my personal belief. So in reality, for this person, being healthy and fit is not, as much of a big change as, trying to be Mr. Olympia. But in this case, it could still be part of who you are and what you want. I feel like we have to start at the baseline zero when we're making a new habit switch. Maybe that's, and what I like to think of it is, what habit can you do every day for the rest of your life to get you towards that goal? And the things that you come up with are pretty simple and easy to do, because how else would you stay consistent in them? But those things add up day after day and year after year, and those make big changes in life. And the biggest goal here is to not only do what you set out to do, but to prove to yourself that you're serious about this and that you can actually achieve this. And that's with a lot of small wins, rather than taking on everything at once just because this is a goal that you want right now. It takes lots of time, lots of consistent energy, and lots of effort to be able to reach the goals that you set for yourself in every asset of life. And I think that's pretty beautiful, because it kind of narrows down the fluff in life for what you actually truly want. And therefore, those things make up who you are on a deeper personal level. Because I can want a million things, but when it comes to actually doing those things and going through the pain and the changes and the routine edits or whatever, I might realize that this is just something that I don't really care to pursue. And that's completely fine. It might just not be what you want or who you are. But I think it's important to understand that every goal, every change in life is going to be very difficult. And you have to acknowledge that and kind of break through the suck to get to the point where you envision. But throughout that journey, you have to be real and honest with yourself that this is even something that is who you are and what you want. To what extreme? what can you consistently do time and time again without it being an issue? Because if you could build a lifestyle, I always just envision goals are ways of living or are lifestyles, because in order to achieve X goal, I don't think that, you just cross a finish line and you get there. Maybe for like a um, maybe for like a marathon or something, but you get a trophy or an award. But a lot of goals out there are just like you have to live it. You have to live it in order to achieve it. Because I don't know. Let's say getting very rich is like, or wealthy is one of your goals in life, or to be financially free. You know, you could get to that point, but a lot of bad habits once you get to that point can easily drain your loot or your money, and then you're back to square one. So the same way you got there is the same way you have to live for the rest of your life, and then you kind of have to just visually see that and ask yourself if this is something that you want to live. Is this something that's that important to you, or is it not? And that's fine too. It's all like self discovery. It's all, learning from the things that you care about deeply. And like I said, I think that's beautiful because it's like your compass. You get to navigate life and focus on the things that are actually you and discover the things that are not you. And it gives you more clarity into who you are and what all this is. And that's all you want in life, is just to be comfortable in your own skin and to understand who you are and what you want. Because a great deal of pain and suffering is from not knowing those things. And you know, motivation plays a small factor in things. It could I picture motivation as like inspiration. So if you're motivated by something, then it's kind of like, let's say you're trying to draw something. It's kind of like that you're looking on Pinterest or whatever to gain inspiration for what you want to draw, and things kind of pull you in for whatever reason. I'd say motivation kind of pulls you into things for whatever reason, and it's like that spark, um, of maybe something inside you is kind of speaking to you that this is important. It's not something that you should rely on though for getting you through to the goal that you want. You could kind of use it as like an initial chain reaction for things that might be important to you, or what you might be interested in, or what actually matters to you. But beyond that, it's just a way of living. It's a way of being. It's a way of, structuring your life around the goals that you have clarity on and that you want. And you could have goals that you think you want, and they end up not being what you wanted at all. Or maybe it's a goal you like for a month, and then a month later you're not interested in it anymore. I think that's perfectly fine. Like, that's all part of, you looking for clarity and purpose and meaning and figuring out what you want. And you have to do those things in order to get to that point. I've been through so many different phases of my life where I've had different goals from where I am now, and I'm gonna have new goals in the future, and that's cool. Um, it gives you more experience to of life and of yourself. Because if I just sat here and played Fortnite every day, like I wouldn't know anything about what I want. But just the thought of having goals to begin with and experimenting with them, you're kind of on the right path for figuring out what's important to you. And I think that's, a big portion of life is just figuring out what's important to you. But on another subject that this might be random, but I thought I'd just bring it up now. It's like I was talking to my parents. I was like, my 9 to 5 is like, this can't be life, man. Like I can't be doing this for the rest of my life, right? Um, and I've been in the entrepreneur route too, and starting business is hard and it sucks too. And it's kind of just like a personal reflection of like what is it that I want my life to be? And I feel like a lot of 20-year-olds are in similar spots where this is just natural way of life that my parents went through and other people have gone through. Um, but I just visualize like business and life, and I might be crazy, but like all of these companies, yes, there's important companies that do really, really beneficial stuff for the world, um, that do have lots of meaning and purpose, and they're one of one. But I'd say that's like maybe top 1%. The rest is just pre-existing solutions. I guess let me start over. I Most of the business in the world is just these people in their when they first started out, there's people in their rooms or at conferences or whatever, just trying to think up of some possible pain that the world is dealing with that's very minuscule and just more of like a want rather than a need, that people with money are bored and want to spend money. Because if you have money, like what else is there to do other than spend it? People like to spend money. It's it gives them a feeling of productivity. Um, it gives them what they want. But like the big picture that I'm trying to explain here is like all these people kind of just, because I've been in the business mind too. Like you're just trying to figure out like what can you sell to someone. Like that's in essence every business. Like what can I sell? What can I get money off of? Like what can I come up with that people will pay me for? And it's not necessarily like, sure, they're pains, um, and they're real problems in the world, but like would the world still be spinning and would people still be happy and fine if it didn't exist? Yeah. Like we're just coming up with our own solutions for like imaginary problems that we come up with, and the more solutions that we come up with and the more stuff that we build, the more problems that are going to come off of those solutions, and just a big cycle. So in my brain, I just think everything's like super fake, um, and I could just be naive or whatever. But I'm in sales, in tech sales currently, but it's just like the company tries to get you to buy in and to buy into the vision and the mission of what we're trying to do. And I really don't think anyone actually believes in what it is that we do on a deep level. I think money is the key to everything. And I get it. Everyone needs to put food on the table, and the world requires, you to at least look for something of meaning and purpose. And a lot of people tie that into work. Um, and I was like thinking too, like a lot of people do say that they're fine with their jobs and that, I get some sort of purpose or meaning out of it. And I always just like think, okay, if that's true, if I paid you the exact salary that you're earning for working there, would you work there for free? Like, would you still work there if I paid you a full salary? And it's not like doubling your pay or anything. You're just working for free now for that company. Now I gave you all the money that you earned for that year. I guess what I'm getting at is like if you didn't get any money, like would you work there for free ultimately? but you're financially stable in some way, shape, or form. No, dude. No one's working. Like, no, it's not that important. Maybe a few people because they're like bored and they have nothing better to do, but like, it's not that deep. Um, and I just think that every company kind of just pushes like this narrative that what we're doing is important, changing the world, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, everyone's just trying to get a dollar. Everyone's just trying to get a sale. And I don't know what. I guess I do kind of have like my own assumption of things. I'll wrap it up after this point, but I'm just talking. Let's say 10 years from now. I mean, there's some good statistics out there and things like that for when AI potentially replace all jobs in the world. I'd say some of the research is dictating more towards like the 2100s for full takeover of all jobs, but gradually we're already seeing jobs being taken over by AI. And let's just say 10 years from now, 50%, 60, 70% of jobs are taken over by AI. Okay. Um, I think there's this like, I think the mindset that I'm in is like when we're at the point where AI has replaced all jobs, let's say we all live off of a universal high income. So like a fixed monthly rate, everyone earns the same, everyone could put food on the table. Survival's not necessarily something that we need to do anymore. Jobs are taking over AI, they could do it better than us. We get money to be stable, to live, to get goods and services for free. Anything you want. Okay? Then comes the question of life and what is meaning now? So you're just sitting at home now. You have no job. You don't need to make money. And now you're just sitting there bored or filling in time for a few months with getting things that you want and just hanging out and doing things with friends. But deep down, there's going to be something missing, like meaning or purpose or fulfillment. And that's going to be the biggest problem, I feel like. That's going to be the biggest problem of the world is people trying, because it already is. It's just not really, it's shadowed, it's masked by all this fake business corporate world and entrepreneurship and things like that. It's just all fluff right now, just to cover up this immense pain inside. Um, but even Elon Musk, either you hate him or love him or whatever, he quoted like that is going to be the biggest problem that or the biggest challenge that we face. And I think for the first time, people are going to get in this view of having the primary focus of trying to create things that are personally and authentically themselves, um, for no external reasons. As a kid, you build Legos or you play Army Guys or play Barbie, whatever you do. And you just do that for fun. You do that because I feel like this is going to be the time in the future where everyone just gets to play and gets to experiment with who they are and what they want to do. Um, and obviously, I think jobs will be optional where you could still work if you want to. It's just I don't think you'll get anything out of it, or you might. But I think a lot of it is going to be trying to figure out like who am I? There's going to be a lot of discovery, a lot of self-reflection. Maybe that's what humans are just going to be focused on primarily. Either that's coaching, therapy, a lot of mental wellness. It's funny, I'm wearing the hat, but I just think that that's going to be at the forefront in the future, and it should be right now, but it's not. Um, I think we're kind of just slowly transitioning, and there is things out there, but it's just not at the forefront. But I would be excited for that future. I wish it was right now, where we didn't have to work and survive. Rather, we get to focus on life and meaning and purpose and what we want and who we are. And a lot of that takes place through creating things with your own two hands, or getting better at things, or learning things. So all the time in the world is you just follow down paths that excite you or that you're curious about, either through AI courses or whatever the utopian future is. But you'll have all the resources at your hand in order to explore yourself fully. I feel like a lot of people will be a lot more happier and fulfilled and full of meaning, when that time frame comes. So that is all I got. I kind of rant about random stuff. Like I said, I'm just, I kind of personally enjoy just talking to my camera about what's on my mind. And maybe someone out there will chime in and listen for whatever reason and take a thing or two out of it. Or just think I'm a complete idiot. I don't know. I don't really care. But anyway, it's funny that this started off with a Reddit post because I don't even remember the question. But till next time, guys and woman.